rapper Tory Lanez has been sentenced to 10 years in prison for shooting and wounding the US hip-hop star Megan Thee Stallion.
July 2020, Tory Lanez fired a single shot at a fellow rapper, a shot which changed the course of his life forever. Born to star Shemuel Schwa Peterson, is a Canadian rapper, singer, songwriter, and record producer. On August 2013, Lanez gained initial recognition with his mixtape Conflicts of My Soul, the 416 story. His unique blend of hip-hop and R&B caught the attention of industry insiders, and he soon signed with Benny Blanco's Mad Love Records. But ever since then, his journey in the industry has been marked by both success and controversy. July 2020, Lanez made headlines for all the wrong reasons. After a party at reality star Kylie Jenner's home, he shot fellow musician Megan Thee Stallion in the foot when she mocked his rap skills. Despite repeated denials, Lanez was found guilty on 3 gun-related charges: assault with a semi-auto firearm, carrying a loaded, unregistered firearm in a vehicle, and discharging a firearm with gross negligence. On August 2023, Lanez was given to serve 10 years in prison at North Kern State Prison in California. That was because he not only caused physical harm to Megan, but also attempted to tarnish her reputation. Megan and her lawyers showed how Lanez paid bloggers to spread false information and to treat her trauma lightly. While in prison, Tory's high-profile celebrity status has earned him a unique and challenging experience within the system, and as a result of this, he finds himself confined to administrative segregation, which makes him spend the majority of his days isolated in his cell. Guards operating on shifts also maintain a vigilant watch over him all the time to ensure his safety and security. Whenever he goes outside, you can be sure he'll have an escort right next to him. Even his time in the showers and toilet aren't left out. When it comes to outdoor recreation, Lanez stays isolated from other prisoners in a fenced-off section. With this level of security and solitude, he's not like the other inmates who enjoy their usual social interactions. In addition to this, Tory won't go and dine with the others. Instead, his meals are delivered directly to his cell. He's only allowed a limited number of visitors, leaving it uncertain if anyone besides his legal team visits him. Despite his fame, Lanez's stature also contributes to the hard time he faces within the prison walls. Standing at a diminutive 5'3", he finds himself physically vulnerable amongst the inmates, convicted of more serious crimes. And in a place like North Kern State Prison, which has a reputation for high inmate-related accidents, Lanez stands no chance against a physical fight. Even in this tough setting, he still maintains his innocence, as he clings to the hope that his legal team will secure his release from all the restrictions he faces. Fetty Wap.
Rapper Fetty Wap has been sentenced to 6 years in prison. His sentence is for his role in a drug trafficking conspiracy that took place in parts of Long Island and New Jersey.
In October 2021, an indictment was unsealed against Fetty Wap with damning charges that had his career hanging in the balance. Fetty Wap, real name Willie Jr. Maxwell II, is an American rapper and singer-songwriter. 2014, he would gain significant fame with the debut single Trap Queen, soaring to the number 2 on the US Billboard Hot 100, and was followed by other hits like 679 and My Way. His unique style blended rapping and singing, and he was known for his melodic flow and catchy phrases. Born with glaucoma in both eyes, Fetty Wap had a rough start in early life. He once shared that doctors couldn't save his left eye, leading to the fitting of an ocular prosthesis. But despite these challenges, he attended Eastside High School before deciding to drop out and dedicate himself to a music career. Since his first debut, Fetty had been recognized with 2 Grammy nominations during his career. 2016, he won the titles of Best New Artist at the iHeartRadio Music Awards and Top New Artist at the Billboard Music Awards of the same year. Unfortunately, Wap's promising music career took a downturn when he was involved in some legal issues. October 29, 2021, he was arrested and later given 6 years in prison for his role in drug trafficking. He was found guilty of conspiracy to distribute and possess controlled substances, including cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, and crack cocaine. As a convicted drug trafficker, Fetty Wap faced hostility and distrust from fellow inmates and prison staff. He's also a target of other prisoners for extortion, violence, and exploitation. And with the uprising in drug sales and use in prisons, Fetty Wap is usually closely monitored to prevent him from resuming business. Aside from that, the rapper also faces disciplinary actions for getting involved in prison fights and any form of violence. But worst of all, he could also get an extended sentence if found engaging in illegal activities within the prison, such as smuggling or dealing drugs. YNW Melly.
South Florida rapper YNW Melly back in court today. His attorneys want another chance to question the lead detective in Melly's double murder case.
October 26, 2018, Melly left a recording studio with two close friends from his record label, who were later reported dead. The rapper would be arrested and slammed with multiple charges that can't be denied. YNW Melly is an American rapper and singer who gained prominence in the hip-hop scene with his single, Murder on My Mind. His music would delve into themes of violence and his experiences through life, resonating with many fans for its raw and emotive storytelling. On October 26, 2018, Jamel Maurice Demons, aka YNW Melly, allegedly committed crimes that resulted in the deaths of his close friends, Anthony YNW Sackchaser Williams and Christopher YNW Juvie Thomas Jr. Subsequently, on February 13, 2019, Melly was arrested and given 2 counts of first-degree murder. Authorities further allege that Melly, along with another associate, staged the crime scene to mimic a drive-by shooting. Prosecutors would assert that a combination of forensic analysis and video material implicates Demons in the fatal shooting. Now, the evidence includes video showing him in a specific seat of that vehicle, identified by experts as the origin of the gunfire. Despite Demons' claims that the victims died in a drive-by shooting, the evidence presented by prosecution shows that the lethal bullets were fired from within the car itself. This arrest led to his current incarceration, as he awaits further legal proceedings. Now, Melly's incarceration has been marked by a series of dramatic events. Ever since he stepped in, he's been facing numerous challenges. In this Instagram post, Melly extensively described the ordeals he faced. In his words, "I'm the only inmate being housed in the vacant unit, with no phone privilege, no television, and no access to a newspaper. They're watching my every move on camera, making sure I don't use the phone to tell the world how I'm being mistreated, discriminated, threatened physically, and harassed." May 2022. He was stripped of his ability to communicate with the outside world, including his family, after his phone privileges were revoked. The authorities cited numerous rule violations, including over 3,000 phone calls Melly allegedly made to his girlfriend under the guise of speaking with his lawyers. Further complicating matters, Melly and his lawyer, identified as Raven Liberty, were accused of facilitating illegal video calls by sharing login credentials with unauthorized individuals. Now, this breach of protocol led to additional sanctions against Melly, who was caught instructing his girlfriend to impersonate Miss Liberty during those phone calls. Melly has since denied these allegations, asserting that his phone privileges were unjustly removed due to a single violation of the prison rules involving the use of another inmate's phone PIN. He argues that under normal circumstances, his phone PIN would have been reinstated after 30 days, as per the facility's handbook. Yet he claims to have been denied the restoration since his initial incarceration. However, this inability to communicate with the outside world isn't the only source of tension for Melly. On October 2022, reports surfaced that he had attempted an escape from prison. Prosecutors alleged that his plan was hatched 6 months earlier, with Melly supposedly conspiring with fellow inmate, Nicholas Lewis. The plot would thicken when it was claimed that one of Melly's attorneys was implicated, accused of smuggling handcuff keys to aid in their escape. This tip-off led to a search of his cell, uncovering a 6-inch shank, razor blades, lighters, rolling papers, and unauthorized prescription drugs. While the search in his cell didn't yield the alleged handcuff key, the authorities remained vigilant, considering the possibility that the key hadn't yet been smuggled in. Young Thug.
The Fulton County District Attorney claims the rapper, whose real name is Jeffrey Williams Jr., is part of a gang that used violence, drugs, and even murder to make money.
May 9th, 2020, Jeffrey Lamar Williams, better yet known as Young Thug, was arrested in Atlanta on gang-related charges. Additional charges against him included a 56-count conspiracy to violate the Racketeer-Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, and felonies related to possession of illegal substances and illegal firearms. Now, these charges are a part of a larger indictment, including 28 other people allegedly associated with the Young Stoner Life record label, which prosecutors claim is a criminal street gang. Now, while in custody at the Cobb County Jail, Young Thug's treatment in prison has raised concerns. Due to his celebrity status, he's being held in solitary confinement with conditions described as dungeon-like, to protect him from being attacked. Also, Young Thug's association with organized crime has put him in a bad light, as he's viewed with heightened suspicion and caution by both inmates and staff. He is therefore segregated from other inmates to prevent him from exerting influence or orchestrating criminal activities from behind bars. Now, because of his experience in here, Young Thug has tried multiple times to get out of jail on bail, but has been repeatedly denied. That's because a court judge deemed him a threat to the public, as he could harm possible witnesses. As a result of these fears, Young Thug went on to convince the judge that he wouldn't flee Georgia or intimidate witnesses. He suggested hiring off-duty police officers to watch him around the clock at his residence and restricting visitors to a court-approved list. On top of that, he would also wear a GPS tracker and allow all his communications to be monitored. But despite these suggestions, he has yet to convince a judge to grant him bail. Casanova.
Casanova's facing 60 years after pleading guilty to drug and racketeering charges. He distanced himself from his old crew, then just days later, his face got slashed in prison.
June 2023, rapper Casanova became the target of a deadly prison attack after renouncing his membership in a lethal criminal gang. Casanova, real name Caswell Sr., is a Haitian-American rapper known for his energetic performances and raw storytelling abilities through music. Now, his life, however, took a dark turn when he was indicted on RICO charges alongside 17 others due to his alleged involvement with the Bloods' untouchable Guerrilla Stone Nation, where he was the leader. Prosecutors accused the gang of committing violent acts across New York City. Interestingly, this wasn't Casanova's first run-in with the law. He was arrested at the age of 18, imprisoned on Rikers Island, and during his time there he would develop a strong connection with his cellmate, who would later be revealed as the rapper A$AP Rocky. June 29, 2023, Casanova was given 15 years and 8 months in prison for multiple federal offenses. However, before his sentencing following a guilty plea on many felony charges, Casanova was subjected to a disciplinary act for doing a TikTok challenge during a jail visit. February 3, 2021, Casanova's girlfriend, with Instagram username Swaggy Jazzy, shared a video of the rapper participating in this popular dance challenge. Now, the challenge involved performing these moves in the strangest locations one could think of. Casanova would take his challenge during a visit at the Westchester County Department of Correction in Valhalla, New York. He also uploaded the video on his Instagram page with the caption, "Carefree." Most people would find this video funny, but Casanova set himself up for more challenges while incarcerated. As a result, they revoked his visiting rights. In addition to that, he was subjected to more disciplinary actions for not putting on a face mask as mandated by the prison authorities at the time. And as distressing as this was, it's nothing compared to the life-threatening attacks the rapper faces almost daily. On June 15, 2023, reports indicated that Casanova became a target just after he publicly distanced himself from the said gang. On June 2023, Casanova sought leniency by renouncing his affiliation with the untouchable Guerrilla Stone Nation Bloods. In a letter to the judge, he expressed his intention to publicly sever ties with the gang in the future. His family and friends also contributed statements, hoping for a lighter sentence for the rapper. As a result, there was a huge target on his back. One such attack would take place at the Essex County Correctional Facility. Now, this attack was initiated by another inmate who went by the name Ulysses Lugo. Lugo cornered the rapper in a seemingly secluded part of the prison hall and slashed his face with a blade-like weapon after he tried to escape. But Casanova, who was used to such attacks being involved in a gang himself before, wasted no time in launching a retaliatory move. So with blood trickling down his face and a stained uniform, Casanova and other inmates chased Lugo down the prison hall and inflicted several cuts on his face as well when they caught up with him. While the reasons they preferred to inflict these wounds on their faces are unknown, there are speculations saying it could be symbolism of the Bloods gang initiation rite, called the Buck 50, making their members slash faces of civilians with a blade to be able to join the gang. Now, the incident is currently being investigated, and no weapons were found after the attack. The prison authorities, however, claim that they observed an inmate attempting to flush something down the toilet, but so far no official reports have been made. Mystikal.
51-year-old Michael Tyler, also known as Mystikal, was arrested on multiple charges including first-degree rape and domestic abuse battery.
July 2022, a confrontation between Mystikal and this female acquaintance suddenly turned physical. Little did anyone know this argument would earn the rapper a possible lifetime behind bars. Now, Mystikal's an American rapper well known for his brash, untamable vocal delivery and distinctive rasp. Born Michael Tyler, Mystikal had a good ride in the music industry, with quite a number of songs and albums, reaching the Billboard Hot 100 and 200. Despite his fame and success, Mystikal faced a lot of legal problems throughout his career. Back in 2003, he pled guilty to sexual battery and extortion for forcing his hairstylist to perform sexual acts on him and his 2 bodyguards. He spent 6 years in prison for that offense. In 2017, he was again indicted on kidnapping charges, but was later released on a $3 million bond after spending 18 months in jail. With all these sexual-related offenses, Mystikal was mandated to register as a sex offender. Now, many people thought he learned his lesson by then, but he was arrested yet again for first-degree rape, false imprisonment charges, criminal damage to property worth less than $1,000, and prohibited acts of drug paraphernalia just 5 years later. July 2022, Mystikal allegedly confronted a female acquaintance at his home in the Ascension Parish section of Louisiana and accused her of theft, which then escalated into physical violence. According to reports, Mystikal went to pull her hair and then just punched her repeatedly. He also allegedly coerced her into praying with him before going into sexually assaulting her. That's not all, though. He's said to have taken her car keys and cell phone to prevent her from leaving or seeking help from authorities. So if convicted on first-degree charges, Mystikal's facing a mandatory life sentence. But despite serving those long prison sentences in the past for sex crimes, the rapper has pled not guilty to all the charges. So now while he's waiting, he has to stay behind bars without the possibility of bail. Now, his time in jail has its good and bad days, but most of all, his celebrity status doesn't really help much. He often gets into fights for these petty reasons. I mean, inmates mostly want to show who's boss around here, so they're always kind of fighting. Now, sometimes he wins and other times he gets beaten down. The guards also really don't care about his fame as they treat him like everyone else. In addition to that, the prisoners have marked him as a target due to his record as a sex offender. Randomly, they'll knock him to the ground, typically in areas like the chow hall or other secluded parts. And they don't even care if the guards are watching. And because of this, Mystikal often eats alone. He's subjected to solitary confinement for his own protection. Even when in the yard, he stays all by himself and avoids mixing with the crowd for fear of being hit. C. Murder.
Corey Miller, known to many of you as C. Murder, has spent more than a decade in prison, and up until a few days ago, he wasn't sure if he'd ever get out.
C. Murder, the former No Limits record rapper, real name Corey Miller, has been serving a life sentence in the Louisiana penal system for over 21 years. But as the years went on, his current condition in jail has sparked doubts about his conviction. Back in 2002, on January 12th, Steve Thomas was beaten and fatally shot at Louisiana's Platinum nightclub. Now, this incident led to the arrest of C. Murder just 6 days later, originally for causing a disturbance at the House of Blues in New Orleans, before he was charged with Thomas's murder. Witnesses from Louisiana's Platinum nightclub, including bouncer Darnell Jordan and Kenneth Jordan, both claimed they saw C. Murder shoot Thomas. Ironically, on August 2009, C. Murder was found guilty of second-degree murder by a 10-2 verdict, despite a retrial due to withheld information from the prosecution, and received a mandatory life sentence. C. Murder would describe his time behind bars as being inhumane. In December 2022, an appeal was filed to overturn his conviction. The appeal came after 2 key witnesses in the case recanted their statements, casting doubt on the validity of the original trial. One of these witnesses, Kenneth Jordan, signed an affidavit stating that he only blamed C. Murder under duress, insisting that the rapper was not the person he saw shoot Thomas. In the same fashion, Darnell also signed a letter affirming that he was certain C. Murder did not shoot the victim. And according to the rapper's attorney, Philip C. Hamilton, "There's no physical evidence. You're not hearing anything about them having a gun. There was nothing about DNA. There was no surveillance video. There was no confession. This all boiled down to the witness statements of these 2 primary individuals who testified to have seen the shooting." However, despite this compelling evidence, the appeal was denied by a judge, leaving C. Murder to continue facing the harsh reality of life in prison. On February 23, 2023, C. Murder announced in his social media post that he was on a hunger strike. to protest the treatment he had endured. He alleges that the conditions at the Elaine Hunt Correctional Center have not improved since his incarceration. He claims he's been denied proper medical treatment, leading to a significant decline in his health. In his words, "Now more than ever, that a quick strategic move is made, as my health has significantly declined due to the prison system's inhumane conditions, and I'm not getting proper medical treatment. This has taken a major toll on me, but I refuse to give up. Please stand with me." His push for innocence, however, prompted several other celebrities to jump in, like Drake, Snoop Dogg, and Kim Kardashian, to seek for his release. His publicist, Lisa Jackson, and his manager, Steven Johnson, have also sought Kim Kardashian's support in raising awareness about the rapper's inhumane treatment in jail and his appeal to overturn his conviction. Tay-K.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Trayvon McIntyre, guilty of the offense of aggravated robbery as charged in count 2 of the indictment.
Tay-K, born Tamor Trayvon McIntyre, is an American rapper and songwriter who gained notoriety for his hit song, The Race. However, his rise to fame was intertwined also with criminal charges and a tragic murder case. Tay-K's journey into gangs and crime began at a very young age, with his father, Kevin Beverly, and his mom being members of a gang known as the Baby Insane Crips. It was almost inevitable that the rapper would follow in the same footsteps. As a teenager, Tay-K would start rapping and join the group Daytona Boys. Now, their track gained little attention until Tay-K released his solo song, Biff Xanin, on SoundCloud. However, it would be his hit single, The Race, recorded while he was on the run from the law, that catapulted him into the spotlight. The song reached number 44 on the US Billboard Hot 100 and received widespread attention. June 30th, 2017 was the day Tay-K's promising career in music came crashing down. Interestingly, it was on the same day that his hit track The Race was released. Before his arrest by US Marshals, Tay-K had been on the run for 3 months. He was accused of involvement in a home invasion resulting in the murder of 21-year-old Ethan Walker. During the incident, Tay-K and his accomplices allegedly planned to steal drugs and money from the house. Walker was fatally shot, and Tay-K faced serious charges. July 2019, his trial began for the home invasion and murder. His co-conspirators, however, took a plea deal to testify against him in return for a reduced sentence. In fact, one of those guys got only 10 years of probation. Tay-K was found guilty of murder and 3 counts of aggravated robbery, but not convicted on capital murder charges. He was given 55 years in prison for Walker's murder, along with 30 years for 1 count of aggravated robbery, and another 26 years for the remaining 2 counts of aggravated robbery. All 4 prison terms were to run concurrently. In addition to that, the rapper would only become eligible for parole after completing 28 years of his sentence. Now, while in prison, Tay-K has constantly let his fans in on what happens to him behind bars. January 17th, 2023, the rapper told People on X that things weren't going well for him back there. According to him, he's at war within, and the correctional officers aren't making it any better for him. "I feel like a hamster in here," Tay-K said in one tweet. And in another, he said he was literally being treated like a ferret in here right now. Now, while the rapper didn't offer any further insight into his prison conditions, it's safe to say that he was tired of being stuck in a repetitive and monotonous routine, much like a hamster running its wheel. From his ferret tweet, we can tell that he's trapped in a cage and subjected to human direction, most likely feeling like he's controlled and manipulated. But aside from this, Tay-K had a lot to say about his jail sentence. According to him, his race was a factor behind his lengthy prison term. "I bet if I was a little white kid, they wouldn't have gave me no 55 years for a crime I was alleged to play the most insignificant role in when I was 16. They would have rightfully argued that my mind wasn't fully developed and gave me rehabilitation and a first chance at adulthood," he wrote in a tweet. The rapper wished that he could get a chance at adulthood. However, things aren't looking good for Tay-K as his other trial approaches. And this time he's being charged with murder for allegedly shooting 23-year-old Mark Anthony Saldivar. If found guilty, he faces up to 20 years in jail. But for someone like Tay-K who's already serving time for a similar offense, there's no telling the gravity of the sentence he would get. Big Lurch. April 9th, 2002, Big Lurch took a generous dose of PCP. Now, what he didn't know is that this strong hallucinogen would push him to commit a crime so heinous his career would come to an end. Big Lurch, real name Antron Singleton, had a tumultuous journey from an aspiring hip-hop artist to being incarcerated. Singleton was born on September 15, 1976. Growing up in East Dallas, Texas, his fascination with poetry would start at the tender age of 7. As a young artist, he stood out by rapping about unconventional topics like serial killers, vampires, and even cannibalism. His unique approach caught attention, and he joined the rap collective Cosmic Slop Shop. The album featured the minor hit Sinful, which climbed up to number 66 on the Billboard Hot R&B Hip Hop and number 18 on the Billboard Hot Rap. Despite his talent, fame remained elusive for Big Lurch. He would move to LA, collaborating with artists like Mac Dre, Tone Capone, and E40. Unfortunately, that promising career took a nosedive after he was involved in a car accident that left him with a broken neck. So to manage pain, he would turn to PCP, a powerful hallucinogenic. Being hopped up on PCP fueled his music lyrics, which only grew more disturbing. April 10, 2002, tragedy struck. While losing his mind on PCP, he brutally murdered his 21-year-old roommate, Tanisha Isais. Her chest was torn open, her lungs ripped from her body, and a broken blade lodged in her scapula. There were teeth marks all over her face. When Big Lurch was eventually arrested, he was found naked, covered in blood, and staring at the sky. A medical examination would reveal that he had human flesh in his stomach that wasn't his own. The victim's boyfriend confirmed that they had both used PCP, aka angel dust, the day before the murder. November 7, 2003, Lurch was found guilty of first-degree murder, torture, and aggravated mayhem. Despite pleading not guilty by reason of insanity, he received 2 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. The court ruled that his intoxication and claim of insanity were insufficient reasons for the heinous crime. Since then, Lurch had been incarcerated at Kern Valley State Prison in Kern County, serving out his sentence. In there, he faces the harsh reality of life as a convicted murderer. He's extremely ostracized and isolated within the community. Due to the nature of his crimes, which included cannibalism, he's viewed with disgust and feared by both fellow inmates and staff. Lurch was placed in a high-security unit as well as solitary confinement to protect him from any potential retaliation by other prisoners. Additionally, he has limited privileges and access to resources like phones and Wi-Fi, as well as heightened scrutiny from prison authorities. His social interaction is also nothing compared to what other inmates enjoy. Now, the mother of the victim has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Black Market Records, claiming that the company had supplied the rapper with drugs to encourage him to behave in these extremely violent manners, thus enhancing his appeal as a gangsta rap artist. Big Lurch is to remain in jail for the rest of his life. 9 Glock Nine.
Orlando rapper Glock Nine has been sentenced 7+ years in federal prison.
July 2021, 9 Glock Nine had this intense desire to be the only rapper from Orlando by taking out his competition. And this selfish wish became the last thing he would do in the free world for a very long time. Jacavius Denard Smith, aka 9 Glock Nine, is an American rapper out of Orlando, Florida, gaining recognition for his guest appearance on YNW Melly's single 223s, which peaked at number 34 on the Billboard Hot 100. Now, despite his early success, 9 Glock Nine's career has been marred by legal issues. His many arrests and encounters began early in life and escalated with charges ranging from possession of firearms as a convicted felon to attempted murder. October 2018, 9 Glock Nine was arrested on many charges, including possession of a concealed weapon as a previously convicted offender, third-degree grand theft, and possession of marijuana weighing less than 20 grams. June 2020, 9 Glock Nine was arrested again in Orlando for his alleged involvement in selling marijuana and unlawful possessions of firearms. He racked up a total of 17 charges, including the serious offense of possessing cannabis with the intent to distribute. But that's not all, because he was given unlawful possession of a firearm as a convicted felon and third-degree grand theft of a firearm. July 2021 was the last straw. 9 Glock Nine was slapped with federal charges of possession of an unregistered firearm, aggravated identity theft to fraudulently apply for and receive benefits through the Paycheck Protection Act, and felony in possession of a firearm and ammunition. But the worst of them all was the charges of multiple counts of attempted second-degree murder. Authorities allege that the rapper fired a gun into this Orlando residence while aiming at another rapper. Also, according to a witness, he targeted that rapper because he wanted to be the only rapper representing Orlando. December 15th, 2021, Glock Nine was given 7 years and 3 months in prison. Now inside, his appearance has changed significantly, prompting reactions from his fans. Now recent photos posted by him on the gram with the caption, "But you know I hold on staying strong, I keep my helmet high," would show that he abandoned his trademark dreadlocks for an afro and appeared to have gained some weight, suggesting that he might be engaging in physical exercise in there. Now this transformation has sparked concerns and fans are out there calling for his freedom. Now according to opinion, he probably cut off his dreadlocks because other inmates could set it on fire or cause other serious injuries. Also, the hygiene of the prison could be another cause of concern. Since dreadlocks require regular washing and upkeep to prevent odor or infestation, Glock Nine could have simply cut him off for these reasons. However, in a plea deal, he was ordered to pay restitution amounting to $10,416. And after completing his jail term, the rapper had been mandated to undergo 3 years of supervised release and drug treatment.